Hi everyone, I'm Tweak or Charles, and I'm the director of Beneath the Tangles, which is an anime website with the specific mission of sharing our passion for anime, manga, light novels, but also our faith, our Christian faith, in both what we write, the content we create, and also as we build communities. So if you all are watching this after the fact, by the way, if when we're not live anymore, you can probably fast forward a bit. But first, let me kind of introduce what we're doing today. My partner on this project, who is the wonderfully talented Trisha Finch, will be joining me in a minute here. We developed a blog post earlier this week giving 9 recommendations of anime from the 1990s for people who may be newer to anime, whether that's because you all are younger than us or just because you kind of came to anime later in life. So there are a lot of great anime out there that are not from the last 2 decades. They're not from this upcoming anime season, and we just kind of want to be able to let you all know some of the ones that might be good to watch, that might be interesting for you, that are still solid and holding up today. So we're going to talk through some of our recommendations, but we also want to hear yours. So if you have any recommendations for any type of old school anime, whether it's from the 90s or 80s, even before, or even early 2000s, please let us know. If you have any questions for us, whether it has to do with old school anime or something current, let us know and we'll get to those as well. So we'll just hold on tight for a little bit until Trisha joins us. But in the meantime, again, just let us know if you have any questions. This might also be a good time for announcements from Beneath the Tangles. So for those of you who don't know, we aren't just an Instagram account. We're on every platform, but our primary one is a website. It is beneatthetangles.com, and we are starting our first impressions for the fall 2023 anime season today. We'll have a couple out there today as Crunchyroll rolls out its new anime for this season. So just head over to our website. I'll also post stories up here on Instagram so you can see what we're thinking about all these new anime that are airing. Let's see. I see Trisha has joined us. Let's see if I can get her to be on the call with us. Hopefully any second here. Some questions. There's a little question area in the live chat where we can get to them, whether it's immediately or a little bit later in the live. Oh, here we go. Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let me adjust my stuff over here.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, let me make sure everything is good on this end. Okay, let me go ahead and introduce you for everybody. This is my partner on this project, the wonderfully talented Trisha Finch, who is an actress, cosplayer, model, influencer, all sorts of things, and a huge anime fan too. So for those of us who are joining us, sometimes we get together and have coffee and just talk about anime, and we both realize we kind of grew up on it. So it's not just anime today; it's the anime that we've seen over the very many years. So thank you for joining us. Who are you cosplaying today? Are you cosplaying a particular character?
Week. I don't know what I'm going to, but I don't know. I have this in my closet and I've never wear it. But
There you go. Just anime in general, right? Just an anime person.
yeah, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me on your interview. I'm so excited to talk about our all-time favorites growing up in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you joined us. Yeah, it's like a transformation seeing you were dressed up as you are today. So very cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so I definitely want to tell our audience, just real quickly again, we're talking about old school anime, right? So anything that's, from the 90s, 80s, early 2000s, and we'll talk about some of our favorites. We might just kind of go through the article and bring up some of our favorites, but we want to hear your favorites too, guys. So just type in the comments if there are some older anime that you guys love. Let us know, and we'll comment on those, or we will. We might look into them if we haven't seen them. So we definitely want to know some of your picks. And then if you have questions for us, they can be anything kind of related to anime and stuff like that. Just drop us that in the question section, and we will get to it. So, hey Miles, how are you? Good to see you joining us today. Thank you for everyone who's joining us. All right, well, maybe we should just get started, huh?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so we when we originally talked about this, we mentioned some of our favorites. So actually, we can look. Miles asked, "Does anyone remember Escaflowne?" Did you ever watch that one, Trisha?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. So Escaflowne is a I guess it's shoujo kind of. It's kind of like Magic Knight's Ray Earth. Actually, you would probably really like it. It's very it's focused on a girl who goes from Japan to a magical world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she is able. I don't think she actually runs the mecha in that world. The guys do, but kind of her powers are kind of influencing that. And it's got a ton of action. It gets dark sometimes. It's a really cool series. Great music. Maya Sakamoto, I think, does the opening for that. So it's a really cool series. It got a new dub a few years ago, so definitely a really cool one there.
On that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Analuia podcast. I'm sorry, I know them. They've worked with us before. And they're a terrific podcast. Go check them out, folks, if you haven't already.
I've heard about it, but I've never seen that.
Which one?
Akira.
Oh yeah. Did someone mention Akira? Yes. So. Yeah, Akira is. You've never seen Akira, so it's it's kind of over the top. It's over the top, but it's really well done. Like it's
martial arts anime, right?
It's a movie. It's an anime movie, and it's like a ton of gore and a bunch of violence, a lot of sexual content in it, and not a lot, but there's sexual content in it too. So it's just kind of, so you remember in the 80s, a lot of those movies were kind of over the top. So it's like that, but it's really stood the test of time. And a few years ago, so you'll find this interesting. A few years ago, it got the rights to it got bought up by Leonardo DiCaprio's production company.
Oh, interesting.
So everyone thought that he was going to make a live action version. I think he was developing it, but it never panned out. It would have been really interesting, I think. Yeah.
Somebody like their first anime was Sailor Moon's Sakura Cardcaptor. Good, because we're going to talk about that. So that's going to be so interesting.
Yeah. Why don't we start there?
Yeah.
Like, what are some of your memories of either of those, Cardcaptor, Sakura, or Sailor Moon?
All right. So growing up, it's so hard to access anime those days because we don't have Crunchyroll, we don't have any sources of streaming service where we could watch that. So we always, like in the Philippines, we always wait, could be every Friday or every weekends for us to watch it because it's also dubbed, right? So it's kind of like, oh my god, it's a weekend or a Friday, we have to wait for it, and it's dubbed in Tagalog, which is our national dialect. But going back to that situation where I grew up with Sakura Cardcaptor, and when you're young, you're so obsessed with it, and then you draw those characters like I forget the name of that little thing.
Kiro-chan? Yeah.
So cute. And I love the character development of it too, how she fell in love with that guy, the older guy, and her best friend too. It's kind of cool because they collect this different character from the cards. So
I
just
have a question for you.
Okay.
So in the Philippines, was it Cardcaptor Sakura or was it Card Captors?
Sakura Cardcaptor.
Okay, because I don't know if you know what they did in America with it. They changed it entirely. Like they started it when they first aired it. They started it on like episode 10 or something. They didn't start from the beginning, and they made uh, I don't know how to pronounce his name actually in Japanese. Shaoran, who's they called him Lee in the which is his last name, right? They called him Lee that's his first name in the English version, and they made him like the co-protagonist with Sakura because they wanted to really appeal to boys. And so they really changed it. They gave Sakura like a Valley Girl accent, like she'd be like, "Oh, hey Madison," and so Tomoyo, her name in English was Madison. Okay, so they were like, "Hey Madison, how are you?" You know, kind of like that. So they totally changed it, ripped it all up, got rid of a bunch of episodes, and they made it like a boy version, right? Well, do you know if they did anything like that in the Philippines?
Honestly, I've never finished the entire anime, but it's funny when you said that they changed her voice into a Valley Girl, Valley Girl accent.
Yeah, it was, and actually, so people hated it in America. Like they looked back. I liked it. I thought it was cute because that's how I first saw it. I didn't realize till later that they totally changed it. But yeah, that was that was definitely something. Did you also watch Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon. Oh my God, dude! Like I think every girl in the U.S. or who doesn't know Sailor Moon, they're
Hmm.
like the staple of, you know, female anime. The Star God, the Sailor Guardian.
Hmm.
I love it. Like it came out, like I couldn't stop watching it. Yeah, the, I mean, those are the time where you can connect with your girlfriends
Hmm.
and I'm Sailor
Hmm.
Mercury, like like you play together, and it's just like the memories that it gives you nostalgic. Like where are your friends now? And it's like a way of bonding
Hmm.
together, and
Hmm.
we collect like Sailor Moon, paper dolls that we play with. So I had a great time with it. I actually started watching the remake of it, so I have to finish it.
Yeah, Sailor
And
Moon Crystal.
yeah, yeah, I love it. How about you?
Yeah, no, so I think it's funny that you mentioned that that it feels like almost like a communal activity to watch Sailor Moon because Sailor Moon continues to be popular today,
Yep.
right? Which it's one of those series that continues like for instance, like as good as Magic Knight Ray Earth is, people have forgotten about it, right? But Sailor Moon continues to be really popular, and it's very cosplay oriented today, right? So people like they get together with their friends, and one is dressed up as Sailor Mercury, one is dressed up as Sailor Venus, right? So it's still got that kind of aspect.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, we were very divided, I think, between the men and the women. Like the girls who were watching anime were watching Sailor Moon, and the boys who were watching anime were watching Dragon Ball Z. And so I never watched Sailor Moon because I was like, oh, it's a girl thing, right? Now I wish I had watched it, you know. But at the time, if I was watching anything, it was Dragon Ball Z. I remember talking to a girlfriend who was like, "Have you ever heard of Sailor Moon?" I was like, "Yeah, I see it sometimes that it's on TV, but I don't really watch it." And she was like so into it, right? And nowadays like anime is in the it's popular, right? No matter if you're a nerd or just a regular person, right?
Right.
But back then, I think she was just trying to spy out, like, is it okay to talk about this? Because it was still like, it was still kind of a very nerdy thing. But it wasn't, at least in America. I don't think it was the same in the Philippines, right? Was everyone kind of watching anime at your age?
Yeah, I would say like most of most of the. I mean, like in my age, like growing up, I was 12 or 9. Like Sailor Moon's already there, and I watch some of my friends, like we hang out, we watch Sailor Moon, and then they play Tuxedo Mask.
Oh
So
yeah, someone mentioned that Tuxedo Mask was their favorite. Yeah, I
yeah,
heard you.
you mentioned Ray Earth. Okay, so
Mhm.
Ray Earth, it's so I was in high school at the time, and every time that we finish our class, I'm like rushing to go home because I want to see what
Mm.
happened. It's Monday to Friday after high school, so it's the same thing. Like they have the concept of women who brought to this different world, the isekai thing, and I still remember their name. Um, Umi, Hikaru, and Fu. So it's just like the mecha. It's the
Yeah.
whole thing of the anime is like a mecha, and then they can control the machine, and it gives them power. And here comes them in a different world. They're trying to save the universe from its evil forces, which kind of cool. And yeah, I just love Ray Earth though. I could rewatch that again, and I think it's already finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got it's I'm surprised that they're showing that one on Crunchyroll. Like it's available out there if
Oh,
anyone
really?
wants to try Magic Knight Rayearth. But it's on Crunchyroll, it's on Amazon also, Tubi, Crackle, so it's very available. Guys, everyone who's watching, I'm going to get to your comments in a little bit, but I just want to ask Trisha one thing before we get to all your comments, and we'll flip through them. And by the way, if you have any questions for us, guys, just leave some questions, and I'll get to those also. Um, is So you mentioned like rushing home to watch these shows, right? I mean, what do you, having grown up in that era, and I did too, right? Like I was, I remember run. This is not anime, kind of is, but not really. I would run home on Fridays because that was the day they would show Legend of Zelda. So I would run home to get in time, and I would always miss the first 15 minutes, right? But I would still rush home to watch it. Do you prefer the way it was back then, where it was like appointment viewing, where you knew it was a certain time and you were excited to watch it every week, or do you like it today, where you can stream stuff pretty much anytime you want?
Um, the good old days is always good because you have something to look forward to. And right now, when we have our streaming, it's overwhelming. It's
Mm,
so overwhelming. Like there's thousands of anime where you can watch.
mm,
And I don't know, I guess for me it's simple. And sometimes when you watch an anime and you stopped and you don't know which episode where are you?
yeah.
Do you have to rewatch again the entire thing? Yeah, I love those days where you could like it's like Christmas waiting
Yeah.
for waiting for something to open your gift.
Yeah, I feel like kids are and everyone really is kind of missing that these days, that like excitement over the next episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to have every option, right, to watch whatever you want, but it's weird because I forget about stuff these days. Like, oh, I actually I have to go to my Anime Planet list to see when the next episode is because I'll miss it. I'll forget. I'll go like 3 weeks without watching an episode of a show I really like. Whereas back then it was like, I know exactly what
Right.
time, what day to watch it,
Mhm.
and if I missed it, when we had VCRs and stuff, so you could record it if you wanted to. But if you missed it, it was like, oh no, I missed that episode, and it would be so meaningful to you, right? I think it's less meaningful
And they
now that,
part of it the next day. You and your friends will talk about it. Oh,
right?
did you see what happened? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they don't have that anymore. They call, I don't think this exists anymore, but they would call it water cooler shows. So like we were kids and we were in school, but then people in the office, there were shows that the next day they would hang out by the water cooler and talk about the show from the night before. And definitely I think there's a lot less of that these days. So I'm definitely missing that too. All right, let me ask these questions that we went through. So again, Analuia podcast mentioned Cardcaptor Sakura. They mentioned Pokemon. I,
Oh, both.
I was a little too old when Pokemon came out, so I didn't really watch the cartoon so much. But the games, of course, have been really big. We mentioned Akira. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, I want to say thank you to someone real quick because they bought us a badge. Tatsuma Sakido bought a badge, so thank you so much if you're still on. Sorry we weren't ignoring you. We just have a lot to talk about. Um, okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Um, Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so D Ho or Hojo says, I got hooked solely on the Cowboy Bebop OP. I also participated in the COVID collaboration. I don't know what that is, but if you have a link for that, that would be really
What,
cool to see. Yeah,
what's it?
Cowboy Bebop. You haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, right?
All right, so Cowboy Bebop, it's on our list, and you said that you always give
Oh,
justice.
by the way, I'm wearing a Cowboy Bebop shirt.
Ah,
Say Valentine.
so cool. I mean, like, yeah, like you mentioned to me that you always give credit to these people who created this show to make it to live action. And I mean, I've seen some few episodes, but it didn't really get me to watching it. But
Hmm.
I will try. But you're the one who's expert about Cowboy Bebop because you watch the entire anime and then you give it a try to watch the live show.
I think it was kind of a cultural thing too, because I don't know if can you hear the music in the background? I'll play this a little bit, so in case people can hear it, because the person who was responding says they got hooked on it by this song. Um, but the I think it was kind of cultural because in America, it was the first anime to air on Adult Swim. So Adult Swim was an animation block on Cartoon Network that was showing adult-oriented cartoons, and we were all waiting for anime to be on it because it had launched, and then for a few months it was really good cartoons but no anime. And then finally, Cowboy Bebop was the first one, and so we were so excited to see it to finally make it to America, and it's considered one of the great anime. So it was a really really big deal for us. But yeah, we talked about how
What's the
you
story?
know the
Bebop.
story.
I'm bored. Just
So they're four bounty hunters,
okay.
and they're all running away from the past.
Mm-hmm.
They all have things that they're running away from, and it starts out as just the two partners, right? The two guys, and then they add Faye,
Mm-hmm.
who is kind of on her own and looking for a place in the universe, and then they add Ed, who is a hacker, and she's a young girl, and then they add a dog named Ein. So it's just about their adventures. It's very, very a lot of great music, a lot of cultural kind of deep dives in there. Super good action. It's the main character's martial arts is based on Bruce Lee, so it's a terrific show. It's definitely a classic. So I'm glad that got mentioned here. And yeah, like you said, Trisha, we did talk about that in our blog. Let's see what else people mention. Let's see. Someone. Blue Jay says they could pull off a live action Akira after watching One Piece. Oh, did you see you saw some of the One Piece live action, right?
so I finished the One
Oh, you
Piece.
finished it? Okay.
I know we talk about it, but honestly, it was really good. I would highly recommend it. And they're creating a buzz right now how good it was, and they're
Mm-hmm.
comparing it to Cowboy Bebop. But I guess for this time, they give. I've read some blog that they give a lot of like they don't have limitation to create this one, and
Mm.
the producer and the director they're involved in this. Or to try to get more reference from the anime, and I just so love it. I really love it. I would highly recommend it.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like you said, I think they did this one right. Obviously, people love it. They announced the sequel already for it, so the
Yeah,
second season is coming. So,
it's my sister's favorites
oh really?
anime. Yeah, she watched the entire 1,000 episodes, and she's just so crazy about that show.
Yeah,
And
it's so
I'm
long.
rewatching. I'm rewatching again every time I paddle my back, my bike, I do workout. Like I just have it on and watch it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it so much. I know a lot of people kind of had the same reaction you did, right? Which is, that it's terrific. So that's a big win for the anime community,
That's
I think. Let's see. Analuia podcast asks, "Would you ever want to see Toonami or something come back?" I think this was a lot of people's first intro into anime. Did you? So before I talk about Toonami, did you in the Philippines? Was there like a name for your cartoon block? Like the anime block here was called Toonami, and there was like there was a character named Tom 3 maybe, who was like an android, and he would introduce, okay, next on Toonami, we've got this. So it would be like maybe 2 or 3 hours straight of anime. Did you have like a block like that in the Philippines?
We do have Toonami, and then we do
Oh, yeah,
have
Toonami. Oh, okay.
Toonami, and then we have Cartoon Network. Um, yeah, I've talked to my friend, an American guy who's been here in the U.S. He said like it's a mind blowing for him watching, like you mentioned, Dragon Ball Z. It's a 30-minute fight for 6. Like it's yeah. I mean that's how anime goes. But Toonami is one of the stream service where I watch it,
Okay.
and sometimes a local TV station where they they rented the rights, and then they dubbed it into Tagalog. So yeah, back then there's no Netflix back in the Philippines. There's no Disney Plus or whatever, Hulu, where you can watch that type of show.
Yeah, Toonami was it was also similarly very important for us here. It was that introduction, as Ana Luia podcast mentions, into anime for so many of us. That's where they showed Cardcaptor Sakura. That's what else did they show? Outlaw Star was another one we mentioned in our piece. A lot of shows got started there for America, so it's a huge deal for us. There is still a Toonami here, and it shows maybe like one or two anime at a time. So, including some premieres. So I know one of the writers of Beneath the Tangles, Josh, he keeps track of it and tweets about it all the time. So people are still finding anime through it, even though they've got definitely other means. All right, let's see if we got any other questions or comments here. Okay, so Dia Hojo mentioned the collaboration he was talking about. Let's see what else we got. Thank you, D Hojo, for sharing that link. I will try to check that out later for sure. Justin Black asks, "How are you doing?"
Me, I'm doing
Sure.
fine. I'm loving this conversation and giving recommendations to people.
You got the day off today.
I got a day off today. And yeah, I mean, watching anime, there's a lot of storyline or arc that you could follow, especially in the 90s. And sometimes, like right now, the anime, they tend to like away from, some kind of like graphic about things that they don't discuss anymore. There's one anime that I remember. It's Fushigi Yugi, which is,
Oh yes.
oh my God, my favorite, my first love when it comes to romance anime. And it's the same thing like an isekai. Two best friends, they were brought to this world to save the kingdom, but it's so sad that they get separated. One was sent to not so good kingdom, but they're like the antagonist. And then Miyaka, which is the main character, she was sent to this different kingdom where she needs to find her seven warriors. And in order for her, so she's in a quest to find her best friend because they got separated, right? And just telling you the background of it, but she agreed to become a priestess of the Suzaku in order for her to save her friend. So it's a very good plot, and the seven characters, the seven warriors have different powers and different characteristics. Like it's amazing how they work together to fight this antagonist.
That's a huge, huge classic. That's one of the major classics of anime over the past 30 years. And I'm kicking myself that I never watched it. Time after time, like I want to see that. That's another one that's also available on the Crunchyroll. So if anyone wants to watch Fushigi Yugi, and I'm fascinated by how the girls are taken to very different places and have very different experiences. I think that's such a great part of that storyline. But if anyone wants to watch that, go check it out on Crunchyroll. There's been a couple questions here that I think are really good. I want to throw one of these questions to the audience. So Blue Jay asked two questions. One is, what anime would you love to see in live action? And so anyone who's out there, why don't you answer that in the comments? What anime would you like to see in live action? And then he asked, what's been the most disappointing live action anime? Trisha, is there an anime that you would, and it could be a 90s anime or it could be something more recent. Is there one that you would like to see in live action or even redone in live action? Like, I'm sure people would love to see a better Attack on Titan movie, for instance, than the ones that came out. But is there an anime that you'd like to see in live action? It's a good question.
Okay, so this is not 90s anime, but I would love to see Spy Family.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Like, I feel like you could have a lot of cool action scenes and it
Yeah,
would be really funny. Yeah.
I finished the entire this first season that come out. I'm waiting for it, but I guess it's gonna be like a really good plot and how secretive the family are from Anya,
Mm.
and then to forget the name of that blonde guy.
Yeah, Lloyd. Yeah, I think that could work if you get it to the right people, like how the right people develop One Piece. Season 2 of the anime, we just got I just got an email about it this morning from Crunchyroll. It starts airing on October 7th, so it's coming up soon. And then there's a movie coming out in Japan, I think in December. That's an original. So yeah, they keep pumping it out. So. And then I'll answer then Blue Jay's other question, which was what's the most disappointing live action anime? And this is a 90's one. It's Cowboy Bebop, like we talked about. And I'll tell you why, because not to pile on about it, although so I wrote a lot on this. There's a lot on our website about it, but I think why it's most disappointing is because there was a lot of promise there. And you already alluded to this, Trisha, but they had some of the right people in place. Like there were some really good things about it, like the art direction and the design and everything was really pretty good. I thought most of the casting was really good too. I can't remember their names anymore. Danielle Pinedas, who played Faye, I thought she was really good. The gentleman who played Jet was really good. So I think they had some really good casting there. But if you read, we reviewed this book called The Making of Cowboy Bebop. And if you read it, it confirmed what I wrote in my review when it first came out, which is that the people working on it had a lot of passion for it, but the people who bought it and the producers, the ones who were at the very top, they specifically say in there, hey, we were looking for an anime to make into a live action, and hey, this one's really cool, let's do this one. So they didn't understand what the series was about. And there was so much opportunity here because they could have made it very contemporary. They could have used music, like all the cultural stuff, like the actors, the music, and everything that was referenced in the original. They could have updated it for 2020, and it would have still been Cowboy Bebop. But they didn't do any of that. Their music, they didn't allude to anything in the series, and it ended up being really bad. So that is the most disappointing one for me.
I'll give it a try to watch Cowboy Bebop, and then I'll try to watch 2 or 3 episodes. Again.
Well, you know what? That would be great, but we're also, I guess I'll drop this here since for those who are watching, this will be an announcement for you all. On our podcast for Beneath the Tangles, we're going to do a watch-along, which is like we watch a movie and you guys can watch it at the same time and turn on the podcast with us. So it's like we're sitting there with you and commenting on it. And we're going to do Cowboy Bebop, the movie. And that's going to be, we'll release that in October. And the reason we're doing that is because it has a Halloween theme. So it fits perfectly with October.
No,
yeah. Let's see if anyone else has asked any other questions. Okay, so Analuya says Demon Slayer would be cool live action. Vinland Saga. Bomba says hair cool. Likes your hair. Hello, Bomba. I think he's talking about your hair and not mine. Says your hair looks cool. Uh-oh, I lost Trisha. Well, she should be back on any second. But in the meantime, let's see what else we have. Ancient Magus Bride as live action. That would be amazing. Okay, so the one thing I would be worried about with that is could they make Elias look good? I feel like he would look like some sort of like, it would just look unrealistic, you know, because he looks so cool in the anime. But there'd be so much potential there. That is a really deep, beautiful world. So I would love to see that in live action if they did it right. Thank you, Blue Jay, for agreeing with me. Yeah, it was just a little kind of insider behind the curtain stuff. Netflix was super excited about Cowboy Bebop. They were so excited about it. They reached out to us and a bunch of other anime fans, I'm sure, other platforms, and asked us to review it, to view the TV series like about a month before it came out. They were so excited. Netflix usually doesn't answer my emails when I ask them for review copies. This one, they came to us, and so we a bunch of us watched it from Beneath the Tangles. And the first episode, if you remember, was pretty good. Like, it was like, oh, this could be good. And then it just kind of drifted, and it was definitely disappointing. And I felt bad because you could tell the actors were sold out for it. They were trying their best. John Cho, who got, I'm Korean, so I was like, hey, John Cho. Although I thought he was miscast, I wrote about that way before, right when it happened. I was like, John Cho. I thought he did the best he could with it. You know, he was really excited about it. It just didn't work out. And it got a lot of viewership at first. It was a top 10 Netflix show, but it died out really quickly, and they announced that there would not be a sequel to that one. Okay, we're bringing Trisha back on now. They lost you by the third episode, Blue Jay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, there you are. Hello.
I don't know what happened.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're here. All right. Definitely anyone else have any questions, let us know. In the meantime, let's see what else we mentioned. Oh, Hunter by Hunter.
Okay. All time.
Hunter. I guess not Hunter by Hunter. Hunter.
Like my number one all-time favorite. We can talk Hunter x Hunter all day.
Who's your favorite character?
Okay, so I'm debating Gon or Kurapika, but I love Kurapika's story too. But Gon, he touches my my heart when he's like a young child who's looking for his father, and he's adorable kid. I love him, and how he felt his character too, and bonded with Killua. That's super cool. I love it. Kurapika, I love her. He's powerful and it's unpredictable sometimes. Yeah.
We let's see. Did you watch the reboot?
I did. I finished everything.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Like the new one?
Yeah.
And what did you think? Because people love the new one. Like, it's really highly rated, but I feel like well, I haven't watched it, but it's kind of like the series was made, you know, the manga was made, well, it's still ongoing, right? It's still continuing, but like it started out so many years ago, it feels like the original version is probably has something about it that can't be replicated.
Right. I know it gives you the flashback of like the graphic in 1999. But you mentioned to me it was like they compressed the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess they did pretty well, and
you liked it.
I like it. I think they're on this. It's going back soon. I think they're in the Black Sea arc. Was it the Black Sea or the Black arc? So I can't wait to see that.
So it's still ongoing, and I didn't realize the anime was still ongoing. Yeah. So, good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You go.
I was just gonna say, fun fact that the creator of Hunter x Hunter, he's married to the Sailor Moon creator, which is kind of cool.
That blows my mind. Like I like when you told me that, and I was like, what? I mean, that's huge. Like I feel like really detached from American culture right now. Like all the, like, I don't care that so and so is dating so and so, and they're like 25 or whatever. It's like, oh, that's nice and everything, but I don't care about it. But I really want to get into like more like anime people, because that stuff like that is really cool to me. Like, oh, this creator is married this creator, and they had like a I think you were telling me there was like what is it called, like an Easter egg in one of in an episode where they kind of referred to it, didn't they?
There was there was an episode where Killua took Annika, his youngest sister, to a park, and then Annika was holding this Sailor Moon plushie, which is kind of cute. So, and then I started reading about it, like, oh wow, they're married for. They're still together, which is kind of cool. But,
yeah, that's good too. That's so cool. Yeah, I love hearing stuff like that.
It needs to be finished. They need to finish the anime. They have to. I think they finished already the manga, but I'm not sure. But they really have to. It's just a favorite.
Well, I hope they do. I don't know how popular the reboot has been, because it's hard to gather the popularity because it's a Netflix original. So it's I don't know. So the manga is still ongoing, or have they? No, it finished last year. It finished last year.
Finished already?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe someone knows if Hunter x Hunter is still going. I see 400 chapters are out. but this might be out of date. I hope they finish it. That's definitely one of the series I know I need to get into. So
They have to finish it. It's a must. You have to finish the anime. It just, yeah.
guys, everyone who's joining us now, if you have recommendations for old school anime, please drop them in the comments, because we'd love to share those with the other people reading here, and we'll read some of those and let you know if we've seen them also. One of my favorites that we haven't mentioned is Serial Experiments Lane, which is kind of a, so how do I describe it? It's horror. It's also it's also kind of mystery. It's cyberpunk. Okay, so the word for it is techno horror, which is new to me. Techno horror, and it's just a creepy little series. It's only 12 or 13 episodes. There's a little bit of a sweetness to it. There's really an interesting aesthetic, and we did a whole series of posts when it came out for its 20th anniversary. It's a really, really cool show. It still holds up. I rewatched the whole thing about 5 years ago, and I was like, this show is even better than it was when I first watched it. And it was made in 1998, so the way it kind of saw what the future was going to be like, a lot of it is pretty accurate, the way they conveyed computer technology and stuff. So it's a really, really cool series.
Where can you watch it?
Whoops. And you can watch this one on, well, it's actually not really available right now. So it's on Funimation, which Funimation doesn't really exist anymore, right? Funimation got folded into Crunchyroll, but the Funimation website still exists, and there's still some shows that they haven't transferred over to Crunchyroll yet. So if you have a Funimation account still, you can access it, but most people, I'm imagining, do not. So it's just kind of out there in the nebula. Let me bring my, I've got a really cool DVD set of Serial Experiments Lane, so I'll show everyone what it looks like. Maybe I'll bring out my cool Cowboy Bebop set too. So in the meantime, Trisha, why don't you talk a little bit and keep the people entertained? I'll be back in 1 minute.
All right. What are they saying here? I keep hearing there's a Hero Academia one in the works. Oh, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. I finished this. I think I've already finished watching the anime. I stopped where it was Christmas Day and they're celebrating Christmas and the Academy. I guess, is there new anime out? New season? I think so. Let's see here. You guys are great engager. I love it. Do you know any other live action anime? Sure. I wish I could tell, but I don't know. Maybe there are some, but definitely. We're just
so
Hero Academia. I love My Hero Academia.
there was something we didn't, we haven't talked about, because we were talking about anime shows. I'll show you guys my DVD sets in a little bit, but we didn't talk about movies, and there are a lot of old school movies. Are you a Studio Ghibli fan?
Huh?
Are you a Studio Ghibli fan, Trisha? Like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro.
I watched Princess Mononoke and then House. Is it House Castle?
Howl's Moving
Ghibli?
Castle.
Castle, I like that.
That was a big part of a lot of people's childhoods. But yeah, those are some of my favorite movies also. So that's another question for you guys out there. If you have a favorite Ghibli movie, drop it in the chat. My favorite is Princess Mononoke.
I love it. So cool.
All right, so there's my Serial Experiments Lane DVD set. This I was super lucky to get, because this was it was a review copy. So this got sent to me by Funimation, and so that made me super, super happy. Back when we had still these box sets that we don't have anymore. But it comes with this really thick guide with all the stuff in here. Let me see if there's anything really cool. This is a sketchbook, and then this is like the episode guide. So you get to see all the, let's see, all the cool stuff and interviews and things like that. So, and I'll show you. Let's talk about the aesthetic, but look how beautiful these pictures are. It's just totally unlike anything that they make today.
Yeah, pretty good. Wow.
And then this this is all cracked up and stuff, but this is my Cowboy Bebop set. So this is limited edition
Of course.
number 4077, and so this is the flip top box set. It's got all the DVDs, and then it's got the CD also. Oops, CD
I
also.
need to
So
watch.
it comes with the CDs.
That's a good one. Have you seen Spirited Away?
Spirited Away is great. So I've watched every Ghibli movie except for the new one, and I did a ranking of them a few years ago. Yeah, I love Spirited Away. It's a terrific movie. So I think oh, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but this was kind of maybe in your time frame. There was a movie called Ocean Waves. Did you ever see that? It's a Ghibli movie,
Mm,
Ocean Waves. Yeah, so that was a made-for-TV movie, and it's kind of the whole kind of romance in the late '80s, early '90s thing. It's a cool movie to watch if you ever get the chance to watch it. I haven't seen the new one either. So that, yeah, who mentioned that? Blue Jay mentioned that. So the new one is coming out in the U.S. in December, I think, maybe November. It's coming really soon.
that's exciting.
So it's called The Boy and the Heron. It's Miyazaki's latest movie, maybe his last one. He says he wants to make another one, but it might be his very last one. So everyone go watch that if you get the chance. It's gotten pretty good reviews. Um, well, we're actually coming up pretty close to the end of our time. Trisha, is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to mention before we kind of wrap everything up?
Um, your favorite, the Outlaw Star.
Oh,
Was it Outlaw
Outlaw Star.
996? I like that one. I haven't seen it, but that's one of your recommendation.
Yeah, Outlaw Star is great too. And I think Outlaw Star is a good one to watch because you really get a sense of what it was like in around the year 2000, like what people were watching, what they really liked. Kind of high energy space pirates, really cool animation. When I put this up on our website, and I'll put the URL here. But when I put it up on when I put this one as one of our recommendations, the extra thing I kind of included actually wasn't like a opening for the song. It was this really cool promotional ad that Cartoon Network made, and they used a lot of Outlaw Star in it. And honestly, I think the promotional ad is better than the actual anime itself. The anime is really good, but the promo ad is really cool. So if you go to our website and see it, it's really worth watching. Yeah, so some people here have seen Outlaw Star and they like it. It's a
If
really
they
fun series.
are, they will also like Trigun.
Yeah,
Van-
Trigun is another one we mentioned, right? Trigun, and there's been a remake of it that just came out, very different from the original Trigun. Um, I'm gonna I'm writing a piece on Trigun for a major anime website right now. So everyone out there, just stay tuned. Definitely check that out. Um, and before we go, then let me point a couple more anime that we didn't mention that you had said before, which are Saber Marionette J.
I love Saber Marionettes. It's
Yeah,
like also like when I grow up, I want to be like I want to be like them, so strong, pretty, and like capable of deciding for themselves. At the same time, they have this little child or this man that they want to take care of. But I love them. They're talk about feminism, but they're so strong and powerful. I love them. I
it's a
love
series. Yeah, it's a series that's really fun, but there's actually some deeper kind of themes in there, which is kind of surprising. And I love the character design. I think they all look terrific. They're so much fun. And then, this one I had never heard of before you mentioned it, which was Virtua Fighter.
oh dude, martial arts, and I really love when it comes to fighting scene, especially in anime. Like they're so good, but it's around the story surrounded with his brother and finding uh, his two sisters and brother and finding Sarah.
Mm.
That most of the fighters are being brainwashed to fight something in the government, but I love it. The characters are really good. I love Pai Chan. I think that one of them, the name of the guy, I think Akira. Akira is one of the, yeah, the main cast. Um, and then it's so good. Just think about it every time I watch it. And my friends like we're God, silly, but we're like kind of like fighting
Hmm.
and like being it like it's just it brings back the nostalgia how we play. It's back then so different without iPhone and iPad or whatever.
Yeah. I totally get that. You know, those there were a lot of fighting kind of series back then, and I mentioned in the article like there was a Street Fighter anime, there was Fatal Fury anime, and they really got you kind of pumped up, right? Excited, like, oh yeah, I want to go do that too, right? Like yeah, and yeah, people out there watching this, get out, go do something, like go be active. Trisha, one of her big things is she's super active. If you follow her Instagram account, you're always posting like your workouts and things like that. It'll get you pumped up, wanting to work out. You get up super early to go work out, right?
Getting up early. I love getting up early. Stretching is part of my daily routine. But working out doesn't have to be an hour or two, but it depends on what you really need and what you want to achieve. But for me, like 10 or 20 minutes workout, I'm good with that. As long as I keep my body moving. So
Look, there you go. So this is the only Instagram live account that's going to talk about anime and making sure that you work out just 10 or 20 minutes, work on what you want to work out. So that's the unique part of this. So please, everyone, go follow Trisha, go follow her Instagram account. A lot of you are watching this because you're already followers of Trisha. So come follow us at Beneath the Tangles. Also, we post a lot of cool anime stuff. And definitely check out our article. It's on beneath-the-tangles.com. Trisha and I wrote this together. We came up with these recommendations, and these aren't necessarily all our favorites. They're just a kind of a start for you guys, like some series to check out. You may or may not like them. We think you will, but go check out something else that isn't like, we love Spy Family, right? But check out stuff from 20 or 30 years ago. It's good too. Yeah. So
exactly.
so thank you, Trisha, again for joining with me today.
So much fun. Let's do this again next
Yeah,
time.
yeah, let's do this again some other time. And we appreciate all you guys out there that were listening to this. Again, please subscribe to Trisha's Instagram account. Please subscribe to ours. Keep following. Go check out the article, and we will see y'all later.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.